On the border, another vulnerable issue for Harris, she also dodged.
Would you have done anything differently from President Biden on this?
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings.
Okay, that wasn't the question. When asked how she would break through the Israel-Hamas war stalemate, Harris said this.
We need a ceasefire deal and we need the hostages out. And so we will continue to work around the clock on that.
Okay, but again, how? Trump, meanwhile, was also busy not answering big questions. His non-answers were in many ways revealing in different ways. He would not say whether or not he'd veto a national abortion ban.
I'm not in favor of abortion ban, but it doesn't matter because this issue has now been taken over by the states.
Would you veto a national abortion ban if it came to your desk?
Well, I won't have to.
He never gave a yes or no on that. And Mr. Trump would also not say that Ukraine winning the war against Russia would be in America's best interest.
I think it's the U.S. best interest to get this war finished and just get it done.
All right.
Negotiate a deal.
As he runs for a second term, he did not stand by his recent seeming admission that he lost the 2020 election by a whisker.
I said that?
Are you now acknowledging that you lost in 2020?
No, I don't acknowledge that at all.
Mr. Trump did not take the opportunity to express any remorse for any of his own actions or inactions during the January 6th attack, which of course resulted in injuries and the deaths of multiple individuals, including police officers, after the attack defending the Capitol.
Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day? Yes, sir.
I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech.
The notion that Mr. Trump had nothing to do with the disaster of January 6th is so obviously false, it is rather stunning. And while none of those were shining moments for the former president, let us turn back to that one unmistakable reason why Trump's debate performance was so, shall we say, wanting. Understand that Trump has siloed himself off into an unhealthy media ecosystem. Now, many politicians, many Americans do this. They limit their intake of information to that which comports with their pre-existing beliefs and narratives. It's a booming business. Websites, cable channels that generally only interview folks from one party or the other, with anchors openly rooting for one candidate or the other. What we saw last night with Mr. Trump, however, is something far more nefarious. It's evidence of someone not just stuck in an information silo, but a misinformation silo. The most notorious evidence of that last night came with this outrageous and more than a little bit racist lie about Haitians in one town in Ohio.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
This must be the craziest subject to ever rear its head in an American presidential debate. Trump latched onto this dark corners of the internet claim with zero supporting evidence. Springfield city officials tell CNN there have been no credible reports of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by people within the immigrant community. Conservative commentator Eric Erickson noted, quote, the liars on the right got Trump to regurgitate their lie. He could have focused on the actual problems in Springfield, but ran with the lie from the idiots on social media, unquote. Trump is actually traveling with some of these folks, conspiracy peddlers. We should note a veritable legion of doom of bigots and liars, perhaps none so depraved as this woman, Laura Loomer. Here she is getting off of Trump's plane before yesterday's debate. Just on Sunday, she posted an insanely racist message that if Harris, whose mom was an Indian immigrant, wins, quote, the White House will smell like curry and White House speeches will be facilitated via a call center, unquote. On this 23rd anniversary of 9/11, we should also note Loomer posted last year that 9/11 was a, quote, inside job, unquote. Trump continues to bring this person along on his travels with him. Why? I don't know. But we should note it's not just Loomer who's in Trump's circle embracing this migrants are eating your cats meme. It was also pushed by Trump's running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, and other lawmakers who frankly often seem more motivated by a desire for clicks and owning the libs on social media instead of facts and truth. Vance has acknowledged the possibility, quote, that all these rumors will turn out to be false, unquote. But nonetheless, he urged his supporters to, quote, keep the cat memes flowing so as to not, quote, let the crybabies in the media dissuade you, fellow patriots. Vance told CNN's Caitlin Collins last night the falsehoods are necessary in order to shame the media into covering these issues.
The people on the ground dealing with this think that it is happening, and I think that it's important for journalists to actually get on the ground and uncover this stuff for themselves.
Wild stuff. Lies from a senator. Lies with a higher purpose. Now, the misinformation silo may be why Trump mostly bypassed all these issues where he could have scored real points against Vice President Harris. Inflation, the disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal, serious actual issues related to the immigration crisis. Trump instead sounded like a 4chan post come to life, which is great if you're going after voters who want a focus on conspiracy theories and unhinged lies. But if you're trying to win a debate in an election, it's for the dogs. Let's dive into all this with my panel. Kate, today, several Democrats are expressing concerns about how tight this race still is. Take a listen.
This race is going to come down to just a few thousand votes probably. Everybody is all hands on deck. Everybody is. We have a campaign that is not taking any vote for granted.
I'm very concerned, and I tell people all the time, somebody asked me in Chicago, what'd you learn from 2016? And I said, you can't win by a little, you got to win by a lot.
Winning a debate is not winning an election.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no question the race is very, very close. I mean, if you look at where things stand in the battleground states that are ultimately going to decide the election, this is a coin toss race, and I think Democrats are smart to keep that in mind. It can be easy sometimes in the wake of a night last night where there's no question that VP Harris turned in a terrific performance and really, I think, ate away at some of Trump's perceived strength in this race, particularly by making him seem weak and defensive and constantly engaging on her terms. So I thought she did a terrific service for herself and her candidacy last night. But it is important to not lose sight of the fact that winning a debate is not winning the election. But I do think what she did really effectively was put the contrast on display. I mean, you had Donald Trump shouting about migrants eating dogs rather than talking about issues that matter to people in these swing states. And I thought she came across as confident, calm, effective. And, if you're a person who's deciding who's the person with the temperament that I want to put in the Oval Office, I think the question last night was pretty clear.
Ramesh, do you think we'll see another debate? And if you were advising Trump, would you tell him that he should do another debate?
If I were advising Trump, which is a very hard thing to imagine, I think I would ask for a do-over, if only because even if it's another bad debate, at least each one is less important if you have more than one of them.
Or just water it down.
Yes, right. No, but the problem with the Trump who was on display last night, who is the same Trump we always see, really, is that he doesn't have any self-control. He doesn't have any self-discipline. That's one of the reasons so many Americans have decided he's not fit for office, and that was what he was displaying.
And Jamie, we have a new indication of how well Harris's team thinks the debate went. The new Kamala HQ Twitter account posted our newest ad just dropped, and then just a link to the entire debate. On top of that, you point to some of the body language moments, starting with the handshake. Vice President Harris went right over to Donald Trump. The same way, by the way, Ronald Reagan did with Jimmy Carter in 1980, kind of like, I'm here, what's going on, buddy?
Right. She took control of the situation immediately with that. I just want to say that social media account, they know what they're doing. They're using humor over and over again. Donald Trump is not known for having a great sense of humor, especially about himself. But just to talk about what she did last night, the handshake, those faces, the smile, the slow head shake, which my husband says I'm guilty of doing from time to time. That was a political strategy by the campaign going into last night. We keep talking about the debate and the substance, and you talked about the lack of policy, but we also keep using the word performance.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump knows, from his perspective, it is a performance art, and they met him there. We saw him destroy 16 Republicans on the debate stage in 2016. Last night, he met his match.
Yeah.
She really took him on, and all of those little things, the smiles, it makes a difference.
No, they telegraphed Ron ahead of time that she was going to try to bait him into nonsense. And you saw there was this, she gave an answer on health care, and she kind of just For whatever reason, well, we know the reason.
Yeah.
She mentioned John McCain doing the thumbs down. She even did the thumbs down. Sorry, there it is. When he destroyed his Trump's attempt to get rid of Obamacare, repeal Obamacare. There's no reason to mention that except to get under his skin.
Yeah.
And if you look back, I want to show you a little montage we created just for you,
Sure.
Ron,
Yeah,
of some of the chum that she threw into the water. Take a listen.
People start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. Well, I think this is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted. Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. Clearly, he is having a very difficult time processing that. World leaders are laughing at Donald Trump. I have talked with military leaders, some of whom worked with you, and they say you're a disgrace.
I mean, she's even using with disgrace there some of the language he uses, and he took every bite of that bite.